This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
So glad you could join us on the SFC Network. I'm Lance Meadow alongside Andrew Bonita as well as Oz Richardson as we gear up for what should be quite the matchup between a pair of top 20 ranked teams. Number 1 in the country is Don Bosco Prep and number 12 is Paramus Catholic. Paramus Catholic, let's start there first. Oz, they're coming off a victory over Red Bank Catholic last week, which came in at 7-0. They handed them their first loss of the season, put 30 points on the board, and it was a mixture of their opportunistic defense getting a pick six and Rowan Martin throwing for a pair of touchdowns.
Yes, I really agree with you, but I feel like the main key of that game was the offensive line. You had Mason LaFlaunt, Alex Deckard. This team ran for 194 yards last week, and Rowan Martin ran for 90 yards this week. I feel like today, if they can use their O-line and spread out the offense, they'll be very good on the run game today.
Hey, Andrew, let's turn our attention to Don Bosco Prep. They're undefeated, 7-0, the number 1 team in the nation. They've been doing it in a variety of ways. Low-scoring affairs with their defense and also a game last week in which they scored 40 points. So that's what's dangerous about the Iron Men. They could beat you in a variety of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the key things that makes them the top competitors is their turnover margin. They get a turnover pretty much every big game. They got 3 last week against Seton Hall. They got multiple against Bergen Catholic. They're just a really sound defense. It's incredible. It's great to see.
Well, that certainly will do a lot of the heavy lifting and position yourself in spots to certainly close out games. Now, let's take you through the impact players to watch in this contest. We're going to start with the Paladins, Paramus Catholic, which has a balanced squad, and it starts with Nakai Martin, who is one of their top wide receivers, as well as A.J. Lopez. And Lopez came through with the pick six right out of the gates last week, and that put them in front 7-0. And that's somebody that Carson Shane is going to have to keep close tabs on throughout the course of this game.
Yes, definitely. Shane struggled a little bit last game with 2 interceptions. So, yeah, A.J. Lopez with the pick. He'll be a very player that you have to keep track of. Jeremiah Alvarez will be out this game, so there will be a lot of main focuses on a specific person. I'm also looking at Nakai Martin. He averages 111 receiving yards per game, had a very slow game last game, but you will be expecting him to come right out the bat firing.
As we see some of the numbers for some of those impact players, and then when it comes to Don Bosco Prep, Isaiah Alvarez is their number 1 wide receiver, Andrew, and then Aiden O'Neal, who's got 4.5 sacks on the season. He has been a terror for opposing quarterbacks in really changing field positioning. That's somebody that the defensive and offensive lines in terms of the trenches is going to have to watch out for on Paramus Catholic side.
Absolutely. He had a great game last week. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for all, 9 total tackles. He's just a defensive monster. It's very hard to stop him with his size and technique, and he's going to be, I predict, a terror in this game as well.
So let's take you through the keys to today's game. We had an opportunity to catch up with both coaches, and they laid out what exactly they're looking for in terms of finding a way to get a W. And we'll start with Paramus Catholic. And Oz, we'll turn to you to take us through as our papers go flying everywhere in terms of the wind picking up here for Don Bosco Prep in what Greg Russo and company need to do to try to pull off this upset and hand the Iron Men their first loss of the season.
I believe if you want to beat this team, you have to come out early and win the turnover battle. Don Bosco Prep has 3 takeaways last game. They win the takeover battles most of the games. A very hard game against St. Joe's, almost lost, but the turnover battle won that game. So if you want to win against this team, you have to limit mistakes and win the turnover battle to win.
Now, let's flip the side to Dan Sabella, and he has been very pleased with this team. And one of the things he emphasized this week, Andrew, is they don't look ahead, regardless of how big the matchup is. They trust each other. There's a great deal of chemistry. What he emphasized that they need to do to make sure they could quiet down a Paramus Catholic team that I think is a lot better than their 3-5 record shows.
Absolutely. I think they got to stick to what's been working them. They need to go for takeovers, forced fumbles, interceptions. They need to pound the ground game and open up the offense, both passing, out to the perimeter and just straight dives, trying to basically grind out and wear out the defense. I think that'll really help them out if they stick to that game plan.
All right, so that's the matchup. It's Paramus Catholic and Don Bosco Prep as we inch closer to kickoff here in Ramsey, New Jersey. The 7-0 Ironmen going up against the 3-5 Paladins. Kickoff approaching here on the SFC Network.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
Kick goes out of bounds, penalty on the play. Kick out of goalie places the 35-yard line. First down, Don Bosco. First and 10 for Don Bosco on the 35. Shane under center. DeLuca in the backfield. DeLuca on the carry. Johnson and Carry on the tackle. Second and 7.
See a variety of different backs over the course of this contest. And that is going to set up a 2nd and 7 here in the first quarter. Carson Shane, the son of Giants general manager Joe Shane, orchestrating traffic. They're going to go to the ground again, and not much for DeLuca to work with on the right side as they're going to get no gain on the play.
That is a great stop by the Paramus Catholic defense. Paramus doing a great job this first drive, setting short gains and forcing these 3rd and long situations to put pressure on the Don Bosco Prep offense.
And it was the defense for the Paladins that made quite the statement against Red Bank Catholic with the early interception that A.J. Lopez returned for a touchdown. We have not seen Shane throw thus far. They've gone to the ground twice. And it'll set up a 3rd down here. And again, they're going to try to push the pile forward. And that is going to be good to move the chains. They needed 3 yards. And that means Carson Shane and company are going to have a fresh set of downs.
Looks like early the O-line for the Ironmen is pushing their defensive line back. I would say one of the underrated parts of this team is their O-line. They really could dominate a game. They did against Bergen Catholic, and they've really opened up the running game for these two talented backs in Dante DeLuca and Kasai Thomas.
Well, you have 3 seniors, a junior, and a sophomore up front on this offensive line. And the left side with Noah Shippey and Rhett Morris. Morris committed to play at West Virginia. So far, we've seen 3 straight runs for the Ironmen, and they're going to continue that theme with a splurge up the right side, and that is going to set up an extremely manageable second down after a gain of 6.
That's a great job of the Don Bosco Prep getting the extra push. Kasai Thomas, who has been dealing with injury for the past 2 weeks, injured against DePaul. He is now back at 100%. Saying he's looking very forward to coming out tonight and playing his heart out.
Thomas coming in on the season with 59 carries. Didn't play the last week because of an ankle injury. So if this was the playoffs, he probably would have suited up as they go back to the ground. They're just trying to be cautious, and a nice run up the gut. That was by Kasai Thomas as we look at the starting lineup for Don Bosco Prep. And we mentioned Carson Shane under center. Their top 2 wide receivers, Alvarez and Murphy. Jeremiah still sidelined. The offensive line we talked about with the 3 seniors. Joey Lucas manning that center position as a first-year starter in his sophomore campaign. Back to the ground attack. Kasai Thomas doing a little in and out number, and that'll be a short pickup. And they're going to award a first down here and move the chains.
Great job of the Don Bosco Prep offense doing what's working. They're keeping running the ball is going to waste a lot of time off the clock. The one thing you do not want to do against this Paramus Catholic offense, who is very dominant against Red Bank, is give them a lot of opportunities with a lot of time left.
Seems to be playing right into the game plan. Just pound the game, work the clock, get some nice long scoring drives.
Pressure being shown here by Paramus Catholic in need of a stop, and they're going to hand the ball off yet again, and that is DeLuca, who just spins forward for a short pickup. They're going to give him about a yard on that play. So it'll be 2nd and 9 coming up here for the Ironmen. As we approach the 7-minute mark in quarter number 1, the opening drive with the home team, Don Bosco Prep, getting the ball first. A perfect 7-0 on the season, looking to find the end zone. And Shane is going to look to extend the play here, and he's going to run out of play at the 25-yard line.
I would say that's smart decisioning by Shane. Obviously, we talked about A.J. Lopez being dangerous as a corner, and he didn't want to force anything, so he rolled out, and when he didn't see any receiver, he just ran along the sideline for a short little gain. That's a smart play.
So it'll be 3rd and 8 coming up here for Don Bosco Prep, as they're going to try to keep this drive alive. And Shane is going to take a shot into the end zone, and that is going to be intercepted. Nakai Martin, the safety, coming through with the pick, and just like we saw last week with Paramus Catholic, it's their defense again with an opportunistic play for 2 straight weeks.
What a great job by the Paramus Catholic defense. Nakai Martin, as I said earlier, he's their leading receiver with 111 yards per game, but don't sleep on him on defense. Great play, reading the play, setting them to 2nd and long, and resulting in the interception.
Yeah, that was Nakai Martin's 2nd interception of the season, already had 1, and that disrupts what was a very productive drive, Andrew, for Don Bosco Prep, and it looked like they were going to be punching it in.
Yeah, I may have jinxed it. I just said the last play earlier how he kept the ball, stayed smart, and just ran along the sideline. He tried to force a deep pass, kind of pass happy, and it led to a turnover. That is not what they want there. They want to win this turnover margin, not lose it.
So Carson was a bit shaken up on that throw. You see him jogging off under his own power. We'll keep close tabs on him moving forward. Dylan Rona is, of course, the backup, but he took a shot into the back of the end zone, and it was Nakai Martin who was able to make the grab, and as a result, it's going to be a touchback, and it will be Paramus Catholic's offense that will now come out and they will have an opportunity to capitalize off of the defensive takeaway. And they're going to start with the rushing attack, and Don Bosco Prep's defensive front not having it with an immediate stop in the backfield.
Great job with the Don Bosco Prep defense, as they have done in multiple games, especially the Bergen game. Just when you think your other team has a big play, Don Bosco Prep's defense shuts it down right away. Great job by Aiden O'Neal, Robert Eakins in the front.
Yeah, that kind of kills momentum as well. They just got a turnover. They're high, and now they got stuffed, on the first play. That really kind of sends a shock to your offense. Let's see if they can recover.
So they lost 2 yards on the play. And here's going to be a throw towards the sideline, and twirled out of play at the 25-yard line is Chris Ventura, who comes through with his 7th catch of the season. As Rowan Martin did not waste any time releasing the football. Martin, of course, took over for the injured Marco Green, who has been nursing a shoulder injury and is now missing his 4th consecutive game. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 here for Paramus Catholic, trying to avoid a 3-and-out. And Martin here is going to get rid of it, and that pass over the middle is complete for a first down, and it is none other than Nakai Martin who came through with the interception.
That is a great play by the Paramus Catholic offense. Don Bosco Prep's defense limiting the perimeter side, but a great throw down the seam by Nakai Martin. Nakai Martin was struggling with only 40 yards last game, but as I said in pregame, looking forward to see him coming firing this first quarter.
Yeah, interestingly, Oz, I would argue they didn't target him as much in the last game, mainly because of the game flow, but he is their number 1 wide receiver, and now they're going to utilize the ground attack here, trying to go out wide, and not much working there for the Paladins, as it'll be a pickup of 2 yards.
Yeah, if I were Paramus, I'd just keep trying to throw it down the seam, try to attack the perimeter with the passing game. It just seems like so far the running game, you can't get past this front 7 with Matt Akapini, Gino Greco, Makai Allen in there as a rover as well. You need to try to attack the outside.
So you have Achilles DuPont in the backfield with Martin. As we see Jordan Moretta in motion, and DuPont is going to try to sneak up the middle. And they're going to get him out to the 46-yard line.
Great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense, and a lot of short gains, a lot of tackles at the line of scrimmage and behind the line of scrimmage, setting up for these third and long situations in which Don Bosco Prep usually takes advantage of.
So it'll be 3rd and 6 here coming up for Paramus Catholic. A team that moved the football with ease last week at home against Red Bank Catholic, and they're now trying to turn the early takeaway into points and put the Iron Men in a precarious spot. Martin's got all the time in the world, and he's going to have to try to extend the play here, and will just wisely throw it away as the pocket was collapsing on him.
This defensive line for Bosco is playing amazing so far. They have stuffed the running back on the first play. They limited the ground game, and they put a lot of pressure on the QB on that 3rd play. And now they're going to force a punt, and now they're going to limit. Oh.
Looks like the offense is staying on the field.
Well, we just took a look at the starting lineup on offense, and the offense rushed off the field. Now they came back on. So apparently Greg Russo has faith in this side of the ball, and they are instead going to punt it. A little pooch kick here, and not give an opportunity for Don Bosco to return, as it is down the inside the 20-yard line. And Paramus Catholic has Fury Diaz Rinaldi as their punter, the sophomore who has been very effective thus far this season.
Great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense getting a stop. As Andrew said earlier, a couple minutes ago, the one thing you do not want to do against this Don Bosco Prep offense and defense is lose a turnover battle. Paramus Catholic with an early takeaway in the game with the Kai Martin interception, but Don Bosco Prep did a great job of coming back from that and now getting the ball back.
Well, I always say takeaways are great. It's all about what you do with them. And they've got nothing to show for that, even though they had great field positioning as a result of the takeaway via the touchback. But after the first down to Martin, was not able to pile it up after that, as Don Bosco Prep, once again, emphasizing the rushing attack in this contest, just trying to wear down Paramus Catholic as they get out near the 30-yard line.
Yes, I agree. This is a team that before Kasai Thomas's injury, this team averaged 120 rushing yards per game. With Kasai Thomas back from his injury, you will really see this team run the ball line, taking advantage of it.
Now, Carson Shane, we showed you, was shaken up after that pass into the end zone that was intercepted. But he is out here operating. That's a high snap, and he's going to get rid of it, and the pass over the middle is broken up and incomplete as they were trying to get it to Isaiah Alvarez.
Seems like Paramus is doing a great job of limiting the passing game. They're just trying to keep Bosco one-dimensional with their running game, and if I were Bosco, maybe I would just take the bait and go with the running game. You're getting good yardage with your running backs. Your own line's pushing well. I think you want to try to establish that a little more before you try to force a pass.
So 3rd and 5 here coming up for the Ironmen. And we're going to have a whistle before the snap.
There's a flag on the play.
The official ref, Steve Peloso.
This flag will be on the Paramus Catholic defense, which will now result in a first down.
I think that was too many men. It was very surprising. That's a huge penalty. You don't want to give that up.
Yeah, you give them the free first down as a result, considering all they needed was 5 yards. So instead of having to earn it, fresh set of downs for Don Bosco Prep. And now it completely changes the playbook in terms of what they can run here on first down. So Shane again handing it off, and this has been the strategy for Don Bosco Prep to just try to keep long, sustainable drives and keep Paramus Catholic's offense essentially on the sideline.
Yes, they're doing a really job doing that. Also, Paramus Catholic, who won the toss, has deferred the ball. So the last thing you want to do is go down in the deficit and have the opposing team also get the ball to start the second half. So great job of the Don Bosco Prep, wasting time, shooting out the clock, and keep doing what's working.
Yeah, and they're tiring out the defense as well. As we said earlier, the defense was dangerous last game against Red Bank Catholic. But if they spend a lot of time on the field, they're going to wear down, and it's going to only open up the offense even more, put them in a very large lead.
So there was a personal foul, a 15-yard penalty. That's why you see Don Bosco Prep now in Paramus Catholic territory, and a lot of action before the snap, and they're getting out and running, and then brought down from behind was Kasai Thomas after it looked like he was going to have maybe a clear path to the end zone.
Great job by Kasai Thomas, the patience. You see he does a little slow jog and then finds the opening and goes out ride. Great job by Kasai.
So a 9-yard pickup by Thomas. And that'll set up here a 2nd and 1 as we approach 2 minutes to go in quarter number 1. A high snap, Shane handles it, and that easily is going to move the chains and then some for a first down. And I don't know how Thomas got through, but somehow from the top to the bottom, he was able to wiggle his way through.
First game back from injury, he looks like he hasn't slowed down. He's quick off the sideline, along the sideline, and he just keeps bouncing off defenders. He's playing great to start out this game so far.
Yeah, Thomas is their home run hitter. They love the combination of his speed and his power, and we're seeing all of that on full display. And the foot injury seems to be behind him, not showing any signs of slowing down as Thomas again goes from right to left, and he's brought down at the 25-yard line.
It's a great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense using the running game. This run game reminds me a little bit of the Detroit Lions. You have Dante DeLuca, kind of the David Montgomery of the offense, the more power back. Then you have Kasai, who's more of the Jameer Gibbs, a fast type player. I really like how they're using their run game to their advantage.
So taking a page out of one of the best running games in the NFL, the Lions certainly have set the standard over the last few seasons. And it helps when you have a 1-2 punch, which is usually the MO for most teams on any level of football. You don't see one guy doing all the heavy lifting, and Don Bosco Prep subscribing to that exact philosophy. And an end-around play is going to lead to wide open space and a walk-in touchdown for the Ironmen, who wind up striking first despite the fact that they had an interception in the end zone. And you can see the crowd getting into it here in Ramsey, New Jersey, as Don Bosco Prep takes a 6-0 lead over Paramus Catholic, and they ran the end around with Isaiah Alvarez.
Yes, I said earlier, Jeremiah Alvarez is out the game, so Isaiah Alvarez is going to be the main receiver this game. They have been using the run offense a lot, so great way to keep him off bounds with the reverse and a touchdown.
And the extra point is good by Johnny Dever. So that'll make it 7-0 Don Bosco Prep over Paramus Catholic. It was the conventional rushing attack. They were biting away at the apple that way, and then all of a sudden they work in the wide receiver, and that catches Paramus Catholic off guard.
Yes, although they like to establish the ground, and they can get a little dynamic. They can do end arounds like that and use their star players, and it really, wears on a defense. It's hard to, you become unpredictable that way. You establish the ground game in one, set of downs, and then you throw, a trick like that and another, and it completely throws the defense off. It was a great play design by that offense.
And that was Alvarez's first rushing touchdown of the season. He's been obviously doing all of his damage as a wide receiver, but it was his 5th carry of the year. So, Oz, they have utilized him out of the backfield. That's not necessarily a new staple that we haven't seen.
Yes, Don Bosco Prep has done a very good job utilizing different offensive pieces. Even though Jeremiah Alvarez is out, they still have a lot of pieces that could be used and which will catch the defense off guard like it did that last drive.
So Johnny Dever is going to kick it into the end zone for a touchback. And that means that we'll see the Paramus Catholic offense out here once again. They were not able to take advantage of the Carson Chain interception, as they ultimately had to punt it away after getting that initial first down with Nakai Martin.
Yes, when you get a takeaway against an offense or a team like Don Bosco Prep, you have to capitalize. Don Bosco Prep did a very good job bouncing back, and look at it, 43 seconds left on the clock, wasted a lot of time and got the touchdown.
So they are trying to make an indent here late in the first quarter, and up the left sideline, that is going to position themselves for a first down, as they were able to utilize again Nakai Martin out in the open field.
Nakai Martin doing what he does. Had a very slow game, has had a very slow past 2 games, but he is their leading receiver with 111 yards per game. He will keep getting the ball, and he will keep trying to lead this Paramus offense.
As you see, Nakai Martin went it out wide to the right. It'll be Chu Odu in the backfield. And instead, as they're also utilizing Achilles DuPont with 2 men back there, and they gave it to Chu, and he wound up just getting back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. And actually, they're going to say he lost 2 on the play.
Once again, that D-line for the Ironmen is holding up strong. Keep getting tackles for long on these strong running backs. It really kind of kills the momentum on a drive. Now they have to work with the 2nd and long.
So this is going to force them perhaps into a passing situation with Rowan Martin. And they're going to run a little play action here. He's going to take a shot deep down the field, and in stride, that is going to be good for a reception and a first down, taking them into Don Bosco Prep territory as Rowan Martin dialing it up long distance yet again with the money ball.
That is a great play by the Paramus Catholic offense. Nakai Martin it was with the catch.
And that is going to take us to the end of the first quarter with the score Don Bosco Prep 7, Paramus Catholic 0, as we step aside here on the SFC Network.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is...
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. Adelines Orthopedics. We keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
Odo on the carry. Gain of 5. Jimena on the stop.
Jimena, their safety, able to come through in the end zone, and as a result, that is going to be the second turnover for a touchback here.
Jack Demena, his 4th interception of the game, but now there is a flag, if I'm not mistaken, that will be taunted. There was a bit of a celebration after the pick, and the ref did not like that.
It was a great play on the ball by Demena. I thought initially the Paladin receiver caught it, but then it seemed like Demena just stripped it away in the end zone. It was a very clutch play by Demena. That's huge, and they're even in the takeaway battle now.
Great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense getting the takeover. Jack Demena, once again, his 4th interception of the season. If you're Dan Sabella in the Don Bosco Prep defense, that is a great stop, and you give the ball right back to Carson Shane in the Don Bosco Prep offense.
All right, so Don Bosco Prep's offense is going to come back here out on the field following that touchback. And then, of course, the penalty, which is why they're further up against the end zone than initially expected. And this is going to be a run off the right side for Don Bosco Prep.
That was a run by Colin Brennan. Colin Brennan has been getting a lot of slaps due to Kasai Thomas's injury. Even though he is back, we will most likely see him getting a lot of good reps.
Yeah, Brennan is the 5'9" senior with 26 carries and 141 yards coming in, over 5 yards per carry. Last week, led the way with 11 for 78 and a touchdown. As we're going to see him operate again out of the backfield with Carson Shane. And they're going to give it to Brennan, and Brennan again testing the middle of that Paramus Catholic defense.
Brennan on the carry again, gain of 3 for a Bosco first down.
And that is a first down with the Don Bosco Prep offense. This offense averages 100 yards per game, so good job of the Don Bosco Prep offense. Repeating the run game.
Well, we've seen DeLuca, we've seen Thomas, now we see Brennan. And Carson Shane has been able to lean on what has been a 3-headed monster thus far. So now Kasai Thomas comes back into the backfield. A lot of movement here pre-snap as they put Zakai Murphy in motion. And they're going to pitch it to Thomas off the right side. He finds a slight opening. As Thomas continuing to chug along here
on the stop,
as they have found success with their 3 running backs.
8 yards.
I thought that was a pretty good job of the Paramus Catholic defense. They used the motions before the play to try to keep them off balance, and Paramus Catholic did not bite. Great job staying composed, staying disciplined, and getting the nice tackle.
So after the interception, an opportunity for them to pad their lead. A 7-0 advantage thanks to Isaiah Alvarez running it in off an end around. Here's now DeLuca in the backfield. And there's going to be a shot across the field from Shane, And it's going to fall incomplete, but pass interference as a flag comes in, so that will move the chains regardless.
That was a great route by the Don Bosco Prep receiver. Great ball by Carson Shane, and the defender had no chance. Pass interference called, which gave him great field position.
Yeah, it looked like an over-the-shoulder throw for Shane. It was a really nice ball. I mean, with a dangerous receiver with Isaiah Alvarez, you can't do much to stop him. So it almost makes sense that it was a pass interference. It might actually be better than allowing him to make that catch.
Looked like Jordan Moretta was defending on that play and had some contact before the ball came the way of the sideline.
And it's very great about the Don Bosco Prep defense. Usually when you have a linebacker versus wide receiver, you just got to take advantage and go for it.
So here is Shane yet again, and he's going to toss it towards the sideline, and they're going to say that that pass to Murphy is good, as he was able to tap his feet and make sure that he secured the football in the process.
2nd and 6.
So that'll be a pickup of 4. And they'll set up here 2nd and 6. As the running game shut down, Jordan Moretta able to wrap up Don Bosco Prep's running game, as DeLuca did not stand a chance.
That's a nice play by Moretta. What a way to bounce back. He gave up the pass interference 2 plays earlier, but he kept his head up. He filled the hole, stopped Dante DeLuca, who's a powerful back, and now they put Bosco in the 3rd and medium, which is tough to get on a pretty good defense like the Paladins.
So DeLuca is going to stay in the game in the backfield here. We saw Shane take a deep shot that led to a pass interference. They put Alvarez in motion. And they're going to fake the handoff to Isaiah, and a quick dump off and a tackle at the point of attack. That was Andrew Wilson, their tight end fullback, getting involved, but not enough for the first down. 3 yards shy of that mark.
Hey, this is what Don Bosco Prep does. Don Bosco Prep has a lot of pieces they sprout the offense. Andrew Wilson, their sophomore tight end, averaging 45 receiving yards per game and an impressive 60-yard touchdown last week against Seton Hall Prep. Looking much forward to seeing way more of this game.
Yeah, that was his first of the season. So you've got DeLuca out of the backfield, and they need 2 yards. And a high snap goes over the head of Shane. DeLuca is just going to fall on it. The ball is still loose, and Paramus Catholic comes up with it. A heads-up takeaway by the Paladins. They're 2nd of the game, and boy, has this game drastically changed in terms of field positioning.
That is a great play by Paramus Catholic. Joey Lucas, their center, he has been giving a lot of high snaps, which have been stopped by Carson Shane. But that time it was just a little bit too high. And Paramus Catholic winning the takeover battle now gets great fielded positioning with 7 minutes and 14 seconds with a chance to tie the game.
So they got a fumble recovery on top of the interception in the end zone. We did see Don Bosco Prep come through with a pick of their own, but now all of a sudden Paramus Catholic +1 yet again. And their offense has an extremely short field as they're looking to tie this game. Martin is going to keep it himself. And a short gain as he gets out to the 29-yard line.
That looks like a little miscommunication there. Martin looked like he was trying to hand it off, but there's no back in front of him. He seemed to try to lead the ball, so that might have been why it was such a short gain. Let's see if they could clear up any miscues and try to actually put up points this time on a better takeaway, I should say, than the first one.
Well, this is yet another golden opportunity for the Paladins. They were not able to walk away with points on the last one. And it looked like Don Bosco Prep was running it down their throat for perhaps a cushion touchdown. Martin is going to take off, and he's going to be tackled from behind by Matt Acapinti, their linebacker, who came in for the rescue after it looked like Martin had all the room in the world. So 3rd down here coming up, and Paramus Catholic trying to keep this drive alive.
That is a great job by Matt Acapinti, the UCF commit, doing what he does. Rowan Martin, as said earlier, with 90 rushing yards in both games against Bergen and and Red Bank Catholic, so you're going to be looking forward to seeing him run the ball a lot this game.
Yeah, Martin is averaging over 9 yards per run this season, to your point, Oz. So he is just as lethal in terms of their rushing attack. And he's got Chu Odu in the backfield, and Martin is going to keep it again, and really no play design successful there because he was swarmed and gang tackled to set up 4th and 7 here.
Yeah, it looked like a QB draw there. Great job of the Don Bosco Prep, the linebackers, reading the play and forcing nothing to happen.
This front seven, I'm telling you, they might be the saviors of this game. Twice so far, they have killed the momentum of Paramus Catholic, and they have forced the PC offense to be in tough situations when they're coming off turnovers. This is unbelievable. It's a great job by this front seven.
Yeah, the Eakins brothers and Aiden O'Neill. It is a tough trio to handle, but the offense is going to stay out on the field. It's a 4th and 10. They wound up losing 3 yards on that play, but Greg Russo is saying to himself, the head coach of the Paladins, points are going to come at a premium, and we're already down a touchdown. So right now,
there's a flag on the play.
Comes in.
Delay of game.
It's going to be a delay of game. So something tells me that was intentional, and perhaps now they're going to see whether or not they'll take a chance at a long field goal or perhaps punt.
Looks like the offense is staying on the field. It looks like that last play, Greg Russo was trying to get the defense to jump off sides. It did not work.
I didn't really see a snap counter or a cadence. It was actually very confusing. It didn't look like the offense was even set. So I don't know if that was either miscommunication or if they were just trying to get the defense to jump off sides and they just couldn't.
So the ball is at the 34-yard line, and they need 15 yards for the first down. And now we're going to have a timeout.
Timeout, Paramus Catholic.
So Paramus Catholic will have an opportunity to talk things over. Interesting move to take the delay of game, especially if your offense is going to stay on the field, because you went from a 4th and 10 to a 4th and 15, and it has not been any picnic by any means to try to solve this Iron Men defense.
Yes, I agree. In my opinion, I feel like there is no need to do that. Jack DeMetta last drive with an interception, so I feel like the last thing you want to do is put yourself even in a bigger hole against a defense that's dangerous.
We see Paramus Catholic's huddle with Greg Russo, the head coach in his 4th season. He's been here since 2022. Spent the previous 5 seasons at Northern Highlands. Graduated from Paramus Catholic in 1998. He was a running back and a defensive back. He helped lead the team to a Group 3 title in 1997.
Looks like the offense is staying on the field and they're going to go for it.
So a big opportunity here for Rowan Martin to work his magic and needing 15 yards. He's got a strong pocket. He's going to step up, fire, and it's incomplete. Over the middle, as in coverage there was Phoenix Evans, the cornerback for Don Bosco Prep.
Yeah, I mean, that receiver had a little bit of space there. I don't know if it went off his hands or if it just was a mistimed throw, but that is another huge loss of an opportunity there. You had a fumble, recover inside the Ironman 30, and you have come away with 0 points. That is demoralizing for these Paladins.
Now, I know we don't have the luxury of replay, but to your point, Andrew, at least to the naked eye, it looked like it went off his fingertips. It looked as if the pass was fairly in line, but a missed opportunity there, and now Don Bosco Prep gets a second chance at a cushion drive here. Leading 7-0, and again, their rushing attack looking for opening after opening.
Gain of 1 for Kasai Thomas.
As that was Kasai Thomas at work.
It was a very good job of the Don Bosco Prep defense. Again, they got another turnover, much needed, and now with only 4 minutes and a half to go in the second quarter, they will find ways to let the clock run and maybe get a point and take momentum going into the half.
Well, with the way their defense is playing, if they could just run the clock with the running game, long sustainable drives, keep away may wind up being a wise philosophy, as they're going to dump it off into the flat. And a nice cutback here by Thomas as he'll reverse the field, and then is going to be brought down just shy of the 45-yard line.
Thomas on the reception.
As that was what could have been a huge game-changing play if not for a huge tackle by Jaden Carrion, the defensive lineman for the Paladins.
Very nice play by Quesada Times. He was trying to cut up along the right sideline, found a seam across the field, and took that opportunity, and boy, did it pay off. He got a lot of extra yardage, put the Ironman in a great position for 1st and 10.
So we see Don Bosco Prep, Dan Sabella talking things over here with just under 4 minutes to go in the first half. And Paramus Catholic has been worn down by a plethora of running backs. The one thing that Don Bosco Prep is so effective in doing, they're going to give you different looks and different styles because of the running personnel.
Yeah, it's very agreeable. I agree with what he said. The Don Bosco Prep offense is very versatile, so you never know who you're going to get. Jeremiah Alvarez is out. You have Isaiah Alvarez a touchdown. You have Andrew Wilson. You have Zakai Murphy. You have McCallum. You have so much different pieces. And with that many pieces that could all do the same thing and work with another, it's very hard to stop this offense.
So Don Bosco Prep looking to improve to 8-0. So right now in front of Paramus Catholic, 7-0. Their defense is right now the biggest storyline. 2 takeaways, Andrew, for Paramus Catholic, and 2 opportunities with short fields for their offense, and they didn't walk away with any points in both of those circumstances.
Yeah, it just shows you how sound and stout this defense is. It doesn't seem like much could shake them, to be honest. I mean, even if the other team recovers a fumble in their own 30, they're still willing to stop, the offense and limit them to 0 points. It's very remarkable to see, to be honest. It's amazing.
AJ Irizarry.
So AJ Irizarry was down for Paramus Catholic, number 99, their junior defensive lineman, as that is what held up play. So it is going to be Don Bosco Prep resuming this drive.
Yeah, that is a huge loss for this Paramus Catholic defense. A.J. Azari with 1 sack. He is the 3rd top sack. He is very good on the defensive end, and with him being missing, you will probably see Dan Sabella use the running game more now that a big part of the defensive line is out.
Yeah, he had 8 tackles last week in the win over Red Bank Catholic. His handoff is going to pile through for about a yard, and that is good for the first down. It was 3rd and 1. And that did the trick to move the chains.
Great job of the Don Bosco Prep offense in the first down, wasting more time on the clock, trying to get another extra cushion before Paramus Catholic gets the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, I would just keep pounding this run game. You want to control the clock. You don't want to turn it over again, so just stick with your players that are making the plays.
As we see the clock ticking away to 3 minutes, and this is going to be probably an offsides penalty on Paramus Catholic.
Great job by Carson Shane. The hard count, the hard cadence, gets him jumping offside, which will get him an extra 5 yards in the 1st and 5. You do not want to give a lot of penalties against this team. Bergen Catholic in the Bergen versus Bosco game had way more penalties than Don Bosco, which allowed Bosco getting an early 14-0 lead and taking the dub.
And that was one of the things that Greg Russo emphasized. You do not want to give the Ironmen gifts, and they've given them a few in terms of the laundry dispersing on the field. Shane off a play action. He's going to take a shot deep down the field, and that is going to be caught, and then a flag comes in. A heck of a catch by Isaiah Alvarez, who somehow maneuvered his body to move it into the opposition territory.
Great catch by Isaiah Alvarez. He is turning into one of your impact players for a real reason. He is an amazing combat catch receiver. I mean, no matter who's on him, it seems like he's going to find a way to get that ball in his hands and really give, the offense a huge break here in great field position.
Well, Isaiah Alvarez, as advertised, he has the rushing touchdown off the end around and made a magnificent grab. He comes in as the number 1 wideout. Now, there was a flag on the play.
The pass interference penalty will be declined by the Ironmen.
It was a pass interference penalty, so they're declining that, of course, given the magnitude of the catch. And They're going to take over here at the 22-yard line. Knocking on the door of the red zone, and a high snap again, and Shane Wisely is just going to fall on top of it. Now remember, they lost a fumble earlier in this game because Joey Lucas and Carson Shane were not on the same page.
Yes, Joey Lucas has been really struggling this game with the snaps. He's had a lot of high snaps.
Second down.
The first 2 drives, it was high, but he was catching up. But this time, these last 2 times, it has been a very big issue. You do not want to give either of these teams a gift. Your defense is putting up a lot of stops, giving you more opportunities. So blows like this, turnovers like this, mistakes like this would be a very huge blow for both offenses.
Well, Lucas is a first-year starter, only a sophomore. He's the youngest player on the offensive line. And they're going to dump it off. And a little wiggle action here by Murphy. A flag comes in. The ball is loose. And right now it is recovered by Paramus Catholic. Yet another takeaway. Darion Johnson, their leading tackler, coming through with the 3rd takeaway for Paramus Catholic.
We'll see what the penalty is, but once again, it seems like this offense is being sloppy from high snaps to dropped, fumbles to, overthrown for an interception. This offense just can't seem to get things going in these big situations, and it's almost, demoralizing for the defense because you've 0 points so far, and your offense has given you not much for your great, effort.
So the penalty was against Don Bosco Prep, and it was declined. So that is a clean takeaway recovery for the Paladins. Remarkably, they're 3rd of the game, yet right now they've got no points to show for it. And here is a chance to maybe go into the half knowing they get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. They could very well get a double dip opportunity. We're going to get a timeout for Paramus Catholic as Greg Russo and company want to talk over strategy here.
Yeah, that was a great play by Darion Johnson. He's top 3 on the team with 5.5 tackles per game. Zakai Murphy tried to have a little shake and bake, pop the ball right out. Like Lance said, they get the ball to start this second half, so a point here and getting the ball back in the second half can have very huge momentum. It can really turn the game around.
So with that, we'll step aside. Don Bosco Prep leading Paramus Catholic 7-0 with 1:34 to go in the second here on the SFC Network.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. Adelines Orthopedics. We keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP.
And we're back here in Ramsey, New Jersey, as that ball fell incomplete.
That was Matthew Akopinti, the USCF commit with the deflection. Great job by Matthew Akopinti. Second along, which put more pressure on the offense. It possibly gave Don Bosco Prep one more chance before the half.
So 1:30 to go here in the first half. And Paramus Catholic, again, just desperately trying to walk away with some points in what has been pulling teeth over the course of this evening. And they're going to hand it off, and here is Chu Odu with a strong run up the right side.
It looks like the Paladin O-line is taking a page from the Bosco O-line and starting to push that D-line back surprisingly. Let's see if they could build up momentum just before the half to score some quick points and then get the ball back to try to take a lead.
Don't forget to buy your 50/50 raffle tickets.
So Rowan Martin on a 3rd and 3 is going to hand it off to Nakai Martin, and Martin did not get anywhere up the sideline. Great penetration by Don Bosco Prep.
That is a great play by the sophomore Kane Ramos. Kane Ramos, first-year starter on this varsity team, has had a very huge season. A lot of turnovers, including a very impressive pick 6 against DePaul.
So the Ironmen utilizing a timeout because they want to stop the clock to see whether or not maybe they could get a possession here late in the first half, as Paramus Catholic has just run into a brick wall time and time again every time they're able to take the football away.
Yes, agree. They've gotten a lot of stops, but this Don Bosco Prep defense has done a very good job at answering back to these turnovers and putting even more pressure back onto Paramus Catholic.
I mean, they've spent a lot of time on the field. Maybe, what the Bosco offense is trying to do, it might happen to them. They might wear down because of the amount of time they're spending on the field. Let's see if that plays a role towards the end of this game.
Well, so far, it is not eaten into their production because even though they have had more snap counts, you could argue, than the Don Bosco Prep defense, they still have been just as hungry and just as active as they were right around the opening kickoff. And they're going to punt the ball away here on a 4th and 3. And this is going to bounce right where a few Paramus Catholic players were situated to prevent any opportunity for a return for the Ironmen.
Yes, Don Bosco Prep will now get the ball with 35 seconds left. Lance, if you're Dan Sabella in this Don Bosco Prep offense, what would you do in this situation?
Well, you're up 7-0. I don't think at this point you want to take any risks. You don't want to take any dangerous shots down the field. I think you look to maybe get an explosive run or a screen pass. But outside of that, they've turned the ball over 3 times already, Oz. And you'd be asking for trouble if you put the ball in harm's way, and also knowing that, again, the opponent, Paramus Catholic, does get the ball to start the third quarter.
Yes, I agree with Lance. This is not really much like the Don Bosco Prep offense. This is usually a team that dominates and wins games off of turnovers, so the turnovers and battles not in their favor today.
So they are going to go to the ground attack and try to run the ball up the middle as the clock is going to continue to run here. The final 30 seconds of the first half, as that was DeLuca. And it doesn't seem like there's much urgency for them to run another play here, and I think that's probably going to be all she wrote here in the first half.
Yes, this will be the end of the second half, and Paramus Catholic will get the ball to start the second half.
Because they won the toss and ultimately elected to defer.
Absolutely. I think this Bosco team needs to regroup, kind of retreat, try to figure out what's going on the offensive side. It's not typical of them to give up 3 takeaways in one half, so I believe that they need to regroup, try to set a rhythm, maybe establish the ground game a little more, try to get to their players like Isaiah Alvarez and Kasai Thomas, and just try to work from there.
Well, that was the big storyline in terms of what we saw over the course of the first half. 4 combined takeaways, 3 for Paramus Catholic, 1 for Don Bosco Prep, and it's remarkable. If you didn't watch a snap of the first half, you would say, how is Don Bosco Prep winning this game? 7-0, considering ball security has not been a top priority.
Yes, it all comes down to the defense. Don Bosco Prep is a team that usually relies on takeaways and has not been in their favor tonight, but the defense has done a really good job backing up their offense and helping them out a lot.
So it's a 7-0 game here at the break. We'll step aside as Don Bosco Prep leads Paramus Catholic here in Ramsey, New Jersey on the SFC Network.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in Northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m. Under pressure, he'll be sacked! Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Jets fans, clear the runway. Justin Fields and the New York Jets are taking on Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, November 9th at 1 p.m.
Under pressure, he'll be sacked!
Be there at MetLife Stadium to experience the action and energy of Jets game day.
Justin Fields all the way to the end zone.
Lock in your seats at nyjets.com/tickets.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
This broadcast of the SFC Network is presented by DBP Media.
There's 8 left that have played perfect football in the Super Football Conference. Bosco, we told you, Old Tappan against Wayne Hills. In this game, Old Tappan, Brian's Dunn's Golden Knights just continue to win. 585 yards of total offense.
No.
585. 585. Here's how it sounded on the Wayne Hills High School television network.
So here is Old Tappan now with great field possession here on their first possession of the game. Maselli is going to drop back to pass. He's firing one way downfield. He has a man wide open. Touchdown, Old Tappan. Leo Etter with the touchdown. Yeah, Maselli seems to be spreading the ball pretty evenly. I mean, he has thrown to Etter twice. As he's back to pass again, and he's got Shane Small. Small has some room on the sideline, and he is into the end zone. And Old Tappan strikes again, making this a 12-0 ball game. So here is Maselli. He's just going to fire. It's intercepted by Wayne Hills. What a play by Chase Canning. He's out in front. No one's going to get there. Pick 6, Wayne Hills. Talk about a moment. Here, Maselli, the handoff. Rodon is into the end zone, picks up his 4th touchdown on the ground, and extends this lead 39-14 with 7.5 minutes here to go in this 3rd quarter. Wayne Hills just desperately not trying to give up more points here in this game. The handoff, and that is a Old Japan touchdown, just adding insult to injury. And it's a 46-21 game now. Wayne Hills is now, I'd say, officially dead in the water.
Devin in that game, 30 carries, 165 yards, and 4 scores.
Yeah, back from injury too, Mike. That's just what the Old Japan competition doesn't need, is a healthy Devin, 165 and 4.
Second week in a row, Wayne Valley has been beaten up. This time, Mount Olive goes to 7-0, 31-17. Give it to me, Vin. First quarter, Wayne Valley going to get on the board. Braden Dunn. Again, when they shoot this stuff from the blimp at Mount Olive, it looks pretty cool. 58-yard touchdown, 7-0. Second quarter, it's now tied at 7. Indians retake the lead. Danny Perillo, 7 yards to Kyle Betts. It's 14-7. Wayne Valley is playing really good football right now. The problem is there's a new nickname in the state of New Jersey for high school football, and he goes by the Specialist. And that's all this guy does. On special teams, Braden Longo is flat out sensational. The Specialist brings that back 87 yards, ties it at 14. Late in the half, Wayne Valley just kicking it away.
Prime time.
And it's once again
prime time.
Specialist.
He's like, his nickname could be Hester, Devin Hester. I mean, come on, man. The guy scores 2 touchdowns out of the backfield, has a kickoff return for a touchdown. So you're in the bleachers and you're like, there's no way he's going to return a punt for a touchdown too, right, Mike? There's no way, right, Mike?
He does.
Oh, man.
67 yards. It was huge. It was the momentum swing that they needed. And you mentioned it, partner. He had 2 on the ground as well. In the fourth quarter, the lead was 21-17, but Longo answers and says, go home, everybody. 18 carries, 140 yards. That's his second rushing touchdown. 31-17 Marauders. Oh, boy. West Morris on Friday night. Elsewhere, West Morris, we just talked about them. They go to 8-0, and it's going to be a dandy when they play on Friday night. This one got away from the Gales from Roxbury pretty quick. Hit it, Vin. Third quarter, Mike Finley, who was terrific in the game, 10 carries, 130 yards, and 3 scores. That 8-yarder gave the Wolfpack a 21-3 lead. Fourth quarter, Jim, we saw Finley go from 80 last week, here from 55. Hayes in the barn, 34-3.
And think about it. Roxbury led this game 3-0. It ended 34-3. Apparently, the Wolfpack O-line was not looking ahead to Mount Olive. They took care of business against Roxbury, and the defense, high marks, kept them out of the end zone.
My team, Hoboken. And Hanover Park, we showed you that earlier. They stayed perfect. That thriller, 7 lead changes against West Essex. Hoboken now, 8-0. They're going to finish the regular season unbeaten. Belleville, I like this. The Ivy League, we're going to be calling that championship game next Wednesday night on the Super Football Conference Network. Belleville, 40-22 over Kearney. Jordan Armstrong, the quarterback, 12 of 18, 204 yards and 3 scores. As a team, they rush for 248. They're really complete. Tomorrow night, Ivy League semifinal against Ridgefield Park.
Yeah, Ivy League is working. They've done a great job. Danny Vivino and the boys in the Super Football Conference. It's basically a new champion every year. It's just been a breath of fresh air for these teams who are involved in this. And, hey, it's all coming down to this. And, by the way, Hoboken, you said they're going to finish undefeated and win the division. They have one more game left. And barely, you don't think, Pascack Hills, don't they play Pascack Hills?
No, they're going to beat them. No problem. No problem. And Mike Gerst, his Fort Lee team, tomorrow night will be in the other Ivy League semifinal. They beat Demarest 18-0, thanks in part to quarterback Luke Senatori. 21 carries, 178 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So there's 8 left, Jim. There's 8 left in that unbeaten thing in the Super Football Conference. Now, Red Bank Catholic's not in the Super Football Conference, but they were unbeaten until they ran into America's top athletic directors team, the Paramus Catholic Paladins. And I think we got a little something here, right? What is
That's
this?
for you. This is from Mrs. LaFond. Remember, she was critical of the helmet selection early in the season.
Oh, yeah.
So she made me this beautiful
nice.
shirt. It's got the Paladins up top, very glittery. It's spectacular. Thank you so much, Mrs. LaFont.
Alvarez on the short return. Shelby on the stop. Don Bosco Prep will take over at the 25-yard line.
The 30-yard line, as that is Kasai Thomas on the carry.
This is just what they need to keep doing. I mean, their ground game looks great. The O-line's pushing. The running backs are making plays. They just can't force anything. If you just stay with this ground game, chew the clock, get a nice long drive, you'll be in the driver's seat.
So a pickup of 5, 2nd and 5 now. For Carson Shane, who again hands the ball off, and that was beautiful penetration by the Paladins, getting in the grill of the running game for Don Bosco Prep. And remember, they had A.J. Irizarry, one of their top defensive linemen, go down earlier in the game, who has been an integral part. And it looks like 99 is now back out there. So that is a good sign for Paramus Catholic.
Yeah, that is definitely a good sign for the Paramus Catholic defense. He's been a very huge part of tonight's success. Looking forward to seeing much more of him tonight.
3rd and 5. Shane has plenty of time, and he dumps it off over the middle. And this is going to be good for a first down and then some. It's a foot race, and Isaiah Alvarez has his 2nd touchdown of the night. In the blink of an eye, Don Bosco Prep pads its lead and makes this a 13-0 affair.
I tell you, Les, he's going to be one of the best wide receivers to come out of New Jersey. He's just so dynamic. He's fast. He's quick. He's got great hands. It just in the blink of the eye, he could just turn the momentum right around. And he's just a great playmaker for the Ironmen.
And this is exactly what you need from the Don Bosco Prep offense. Now we're getting a double score lead and putting even more pressure on the Paramus Catholic
So
offense.
here is Johnny Dever. And Dever's extra point falls through to make it 14-0 Don Bosco Prep. It's been the Isaiah Alvarez show. An end around and then a long catch and run. Paramus Catholic thought they were simply just going to move the chains, and instead Alvarez takes it to the house.
Yeah, great job by Isaiah Alvarez. Yards after the catch. What seems to be just a normal 5-yard slant for the first down turns into a 60-yard touchdown. Great job by Isaiah Alvarez stepping up when a receiver is out and now doing his job. And now the Don Bosco Prep defense feels even way more confident with a double score lead.
Yeah, he's been doing great, getting a lot of yak, yards after catch, yards after carry. I mean, he's just a really dynamic playmaker. He's shifty, he's fast, he's hard to tackle. I mean, he's just very, very dynamic. It's hard to stop him.
Yeah, we saw him as a running back. We've seen him as a receiver. They move him all around, and clearly has the skill set that they could tap into. As Johnny Dever now will kick off with his team up by a pair of scores, and Paramus Catholic got the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Was forced to punt, and Don Bosco Prep taking it to the house. So here is a return, and really one of the first that we're going to see in this game, but Paramus Catholic with Mekhi Martin not able to squeeze through, though they were able to get 15 yards.
See, this Paladin offense could bounce back. They need to establish the ground game once before, and they really just need to get back in this game because it doesn't look too great for them so far.
Well, the key for them is to stay in manageable 3rd downs. That's been problematic for them this evening. A lot of 3rd and longs, and that's what happens when you can't run the ball on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, I agree with what he says. The 3rd and longs are a huge part, and with Don Bosco Prep, they take a lot of advantage of these type of plays.
Here's Martin, and Martin is going to try to take off himself, and he's sandwiched down at the 20-yard line. As we saw A lot of activity in the gun on that one.
Great play by the D-line. I would say great pocket awareness by Martin. I mean, that D-line was closing the pocket quickly. He scrambled out towards the left and just cut through the O-line. It turned from a sack to a nice little gain. So great awareness and pretty decent play by Rowan Martin.
Yeah, he was able to salvage the play and pick up 2 yards. So 2nd and 8. And the big question is, can they get enough here to make a manageable 3rd down? And the handoff, once again, goes nowhere because of a swarming defense, and they gave it to Nakai Martin. And you saw so much activity in the mix there. Kane Ramos, even the safety, came down to assist on the tackle.
Yeah, that is a great job by Kane Ramos reading their jet sweep again, the tackle, which will set up now a 3rd and long, which Paramus Catholic has been struggling the whole game to convert on.
Yeah, they wound up getting no yardage on that play. And this is what we're talking about. And now, actually, they're going to say he lost a yard. So it goes from 2nd and 8 to 3rd and 9. And this has been the Achilles heel of Paramus Catholic tonight. Martin, pocket collapsing, and he's going to be picked off. And there's a clear path to the end zone for a touchdown for Don Bosco Prep. Amari McNeil with the house call, his 2nd interception of the season, and the man that is going to take his talents to Monmouth takes it right into the end zone here in Ramsey, New Jersey.
Absolutely great play by Amari McNeil. This defense is just electric. They could stop you and play ugly, and they could make amazing pick sixes like that. This is not the first time we've seen a pick six from this team, and it just shows how truly dynamic they are.
So this game is starting to unravel, and Johnny Devers is going to add the extra point. 21-0 interception coming in. Well, those numbers are going to be padded, Andrew, as a result of that latest one.
Absolutely. I'd love to see how this kid plays in the future at Monmouth. He's very dynamic. He's very stout as a defensive back. I'd just love to see how he does at Monmouth in the future.
So Johnny Devers with the ensuing kickoff here, as he, in all likelihood, as we've seen all night, is going to put it out of the reach of Paramus Catholic. And this one actually will be returnable. And we'll see whether or not Paramus Catholic can change gears as Martin tripped up. And now Rowan Martin and his offense still trying to get points on the board for the first time tonight. And something tells me
Up offense type of thing. You need an explosive play. You need to get the ball back quickly.
And that is the one thing that Paladins head coach Greg Russo emphasized. He wanted to make Don Bosco Prep one-dimensional. Instead, it's his offense that unfortunately is on the wrong end of this script as Martin throws towards the sideline, and that is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, Don Bosco Prep is doing a great job putting pressure on Rowan Martin. Rowan Martin's been having a lot of overthrows and a lot of throwaways, a lot of balls thrown away out of bounds. Great job of Don Bosco Prep defense putting pressure on this Paramus Catholic offense and creating their lead.
He's trying to get the ball to Aiden Acevedo.
Rowan Martin getting positive yards as coming into these games, in the last 2 games, he has had 90 rushing yards in both games. So he's been very efficient running the ball. But Don Bosco Prep, the Paramus Catholic has just had no answer for this defense.
So it looks like there was a flag on the play, and that is going to move the chains, and it'll be a first down.
Yes, if this is Paramus Catholic, this is just what you need. You got a little lucky with a first down, now you have to capitalize. They've been having a lot of trouble capitalizing. 4 takeaways, no points. You have to do something about it.
Yes, this is a big opportunity. They're in Bosco territory, and it's, only 10 minutes left in the game. They need to score on this drive if they want to stay in this game.
9:50 and counting in the fourth. A pitch out to DuPont, and DuPont feels the wrath of Don Bosco Prep's defense as Jack Hinspeter was in on the stop with a bunch of his teammates.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11.
So they're going to lose a yard, and it is going to wind up being a 2nd and 11 here.
That's a great job of the Don Bosco Prep defense. This Don Bosco Prep defense has been very impressive over the year. If I'm not mistaken, the most points they have allowed is 20, which was the first game of the season. 20 against the first game of the season. They allowed 14 points most of the games, and only 9 points to Bergen Catholic, who was number 1 at the time, 14th in this country. So great job as Don Bosco Prep defense over the course of the past.
Monarch out of Florida scored the most against them. That was 21. Outside of that, everybody has been in the teens, and Martin stopped again, and we see Robert Eakins is down because he got penetration.
Yeah, this D-line is just terrorizing Martin right now. No matter what Martin does, tries to scramble out, tries to spin off linebackers, he just can't escape the pressure from this D-line. It must be not terrifying, but it must be, difficult to deal with such a monster of a D-line like this Ironman, D-line.
Just a tad in terms of difficulty, no doubt about it. We ate hot dogs and hamburgers at the break. I don't think Don Bosco Prep needed any of them because those guys have been feasting all throughout the course of this game. It has been remarkable, the consistency at the point of attack, which is what both of you have been emphasizing. Haven't taken a play off. 21-0. You could argue it's easy to go into prevent defense, and they're still plugging away and making sure that everything is so challenging on a throw or a carry. Martin being tackled and intercepted as Don Bosco Prep's defense strikes gold yet again, and they are going to have excellent field positioning because they got in the passing lane again of Rowan Martin, and that was, I believe, Jack Hinspeter.
Yes, there was a flag on the play, but if I'm not mistaken, the flag is on Paramus Catholic. So Don Bosco will get the ball back. Against Melissa, the team only allowed 14. Against Joe was only 14. Against Melissa, 14. Against Bergen Catholic, 9. This defense has been one of the most dominant defenses against DePaul also, who had a top 3 quarterback in Derek Zanet, the Washington commit. This defense has been one of the most biggest highlights of the year, and they keep proving why they're going to have a big run in the state championship.
Turnover differential is even now because each team has turned the ball over 4 times. You can't script this game at all with now 8 combined takeaways between both of these teams. And it's the rushing attack as they bring in Colin Brennan on the carry.
Yeah, I'm generally shocked. I thought that this Bosco team, being top tier in the country, number 1 in the state of New Jersey, I thought they would be clean with the football, not forcing any passes that turn into picks or, losing the ball. But they've turned the ball over 4 separate times, and it's just quite shocking to see. I mean, they really are lucky to be up 3 scores, to be honest.
And now they're knocking on the door of perhaps a 4th score. Brennan's got a hole. He cuts up the left side. And with a flag coming in, Colin Brennan is going to enter the end zone for, as it stands right now, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. But we will wait to see what the call on the field is.
Looks like the flag is on offense, so it's going to go back. Back to what Andrew said. It's been a very sloppy game, but their defense has shown up. Next week, they will be playing St. Peter's, who is 6-1 as of right now, on Halloween night. So against a team like that who's 6-1 and has won a lot of good games, a lot of close games, you have to clean it up next week.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous team. They have a great quarterback in Tyler Bell, great offensive weapons. They did lose to DePaul, who Bosco beat by multiple scores, but St. Peter's also beat St. Joe's, if you don't remember, who Bosco had an OT match with. So that will be an interesting game next week.
I tell you, with 8 takeaways tonight, it feels like it's Halloween now, as opposed to a week from now, as again, they dump it off to Isaiah Alvarez, who has already found the end zone twice, and he's going to be brought down just shy of the 10-yard line.
That was a great play. I thought Colin Brennan had the ball, but a great misdirection, keeping the offense out of balance, and Jeremiah Alvarez, once again, he had 78 receiving yards last game, and he is stepping on the gas, but keeping his foot on there. Having a great game tonight.
Yeah, he's a very dynamic player. I mean, this is really, on offense, the Isaiah Alvarez show. The end around in, the first half, the drag that turned into a 60-yard touchdown. It's just been a great game despite the sloppiness of the offense for Isaiah Alvarez.
There was a flag on the play. It was against Paramus Catholic. So they are now on the heels of another score. with Brennan in the backfield. And somebody, perhaps not named Alvarez, trying to get in. And this time they do give it to Brennan, and Brennan skips his way into the end zone for his third touchdown. So the last one was called back via penalty. This one holds true, and it's a 27-0 Ironmen lead.
He was not going to be denied there. He was making people miss, trying to jump over tacklers. I mean, after the first one got called back, I'm sure he had a fire in his stomach to try to get another one, and he did right there. It was a great play by the O-line and by Colin Brennan.
So here is Johnny Dever. And Dever is going to make it a perfect 4 for 4 on extra points. 28-0 Don Bosco Prep. And the biggest difference in this game, now that they each have 4 takeaways, is the Ironmen taking those takeaways, turning it into points, whereas Paramus Catholic has failed in that department.
Yes, I agree with what he said. They've had a lot of takeaways, most of them being early. In the first half, they won the turnover battle 3-1, and they were still down 7-0. As I agree with Lance, at the end of the day, it just comes down to capitalizing. Against Red Bank Catholic, they had a lot of turnovers, forced Red Bank Catholic to a lot of fumbles, a pick 6 by AJ Lopez, and they capitalized, but tonight they just haven't been able to do so.
So we will have a kickoff here following the touchdown, and Don Bosco Prep looking to solidify an 8-0 perfect record and make sure that that #1 ranking is not going to go anywhere after tonight's affair.
Yeah, this team is one of the best teams we've had in a long time. If I'm not mistaken, the last time Don Bosco Prep was undefeated was in 2011 when they won the national championship.
Well, they are looking to match wits with that 2011 squad, as Paramus Catholic is going to look to return it here. And that is going to be a tackle by their star linebacker yet again at Jack Hinspeter to prevent them from flipping the field.
Now, it seems like there's probably short time in the game, and they're down by big scores, but this Paladin team is still fighting. That was a great return by Mekhi Martin, and I'm very interested to see what the Paladins will do here, if they will keep their fight going and try to make this game a little closer than it is right now.
Yes, I agree. Same with Dinsabel. If I'm Dinsabel in the defense, we're up 4 scores, I would just sit some of the starters out. You're #1 team in New Jersey, so you want to have all your players healthy for a state championship run.
And they're going to give it to Mekhi Martin out of the backfield, who has tried to get out in open space as a receiver and a running back tonight. But it has been short-lived. Any of those explosive plays, they just have not been able to string them together to finish drives. That has been a big issue for them.
Yeah, he's been a very dynamic player this season, and he made some nice plays in this game, but he could have made much more if it weren't for this stout defense we have in front of us.
As Chu gets the handoff, and Chu is going to be chewed up by that Don Bosco Prep defensive front again. Is every time the running backs have looked to cut one way, somebody else has been in the vicinity. And we saw Kane Ramos come down on that play. Also Brandon Damasio, one of their other linebackers.
Yeah, great job of Don Bosco Prep defense. They have sat some of their starters up with the other guys, still with the same intensity, no matter what the score. And this is what makes this Don Bosco Prep team so special.
Yeah, the great thing about this is everybody's playing together. Everybody's trying to make plays. Damasio last week had a fumble at the goal line. Like, he forced a fumble at the goal line and took it to the midfield. I mean, all these players are playmakers. It's just amazing to see.
As Rowan Martin crosses the 45, trying to make his way to midfield. So we approach 4.5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter with Don Bosco Prep in total control of this game with a 4-touchdown lead.
I honestly thought at halftime it was going to be a trap game, because even though they limited the Paladins to 0, they're down 3-1 in the turnover battle, and I just thought that eventually the Paladins would score, but this defense has been great throughout the game. They haven't slowed down. And once the offense got back on its feet and started getting in rhythm, the game was just, written in the history books and just over from there.
So Paramus Catholic and Don Bosco Prep trying to play out the final few minutes here, as the Paladins are going to return to the field after trying to regroup. It has been a long night for this crew. They have had ample opportunity, but more often than not, it has ended with a turnover, and their offense has faced a lot of third and longs and could not convert. And when you don't have a run game to rely on and you got to rely on the pass, it makes things very, very challenging. So here is a fresh set of downs for Rowan Martin. He's just going to hand it off to Chu Odu, who's going to try to reverse the field, and he is brought down in the backfield by Phoenix Evans, the corner, who took a perfect angle towards the ball carrier.
Yeah, that is a great tackle by Phoenix Evans, the number 2 player in jersey. Great job bringing the outside run, getting a nice ankle bite there, and another tackle for a loss.
So we approach 3.5 minutes here. And Paramus Catholic essentially is just trying to milk this clock to prevent Don Bosco Prep from getting an additional possession. And they're going to go home and try to regroup quickly before they turn the page to their next game. Here's a play action, and Martin's hit. And he's going to throw it deep down the field, and it's dropped. Martin could not haul it in.
And this just tells you how this game today has been. A pretty good throw for Rowan Martin. Hit as he threw as well. Dropped by their star receiver, Kai Martin. We knew it was going to be a challenge for them facing the number 1 team on the road. But this offense just had no star power at all.
Yeah, that play right there just basically reflected the game for the Paladins. Just a great opportunity there to get a big gain and basically shift the momentum to their side, but they lose that opportunity. And, against a great team like this, you're not going to get too many of those. So it's been tough for these Paladins to capitalize on these opportunities.
So that'll set up 3rd and 14. And Martin, again, feeling the pressure. He floats it to DuPont, and DuPont is going to spin around a few would-be tacklers and try to position him and his teammates into Don Bosco Prep territory, as that was good enough to move the chains, at least as it appeared. It was a 3rd and long. Now, was there a flag on the play? It looks like one of the officials picking up a flag now.
Yes, there was a flag on the play. Looks like a block in the back. Rowan Martin, pretty good smart call. They saw the blitz coming, so a little screen pass, but there was a flag. It looked like it was a block on the back by the right guard.
And that's what wiped out the first down.
Once again, great play there, great play deciding. They knew the D-line and the front 7 was coming, so they went for a screen pass for, 10-plus yardage, and, they lose the opportunity again because of a mistake like a penalty.
So a timeout taken here on the field, with it 28-0 in favor of Don Bosco Prep. And with that, we'll step aside on the SFC Network.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. Adelines Orthopedics. We keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
The SFC Network presented by Carney Bank, one of our title sponsors, as we move forward here from Ramsey, New Jersey. Late 4th quarter. And whatever your goals, Carney Bank helps you or your business achieve them with personalized solutions and friendly support. Visit carneybank.com to get started.